Welcome and thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Wendy O'Sullivan, the Superintendent for the National Park Service Chesapeake Gateways Program. With me today is Eddie Gonzalez, NPS Chesapeake Gateways Director of Partnerships and Grants, and supporting our session today is Rebecca Stanfield-McCowan, who is the head of the NPS Stewardship Institute, and Brent Mitchell, who is our partner from the QLF Foundation, and one of our primary partners in our office with NPS Chesapeake, Bob Campbell, is our NPS Chesapeake Gateways Planning and Development Manager. So I'm glad everyone's here. It's looking like we have a large group with us. This afternoon, we have a special announcement on the new grants for the NPS Chesapeake Gateways and Watertrails Network program. Next slide. As background, we will start here with the map of the 40 million acre Chesapeake watershed. It's home to over 18 million people and so many places and communities that make our region so special. Also shown here are the three key partnerships of the NPS and our focus for the Chesapeake. This is just simply a quick way to highlight the scale, scope, and primary roles of the NPS Chesapeake Office. Next slide. The primary program that we run here for the Chesapeake is the NPS Chesapeake Bay Gateways and Watertrails Network, which was created by an act of Congress nearly 25 years ago. And it includes what you see here, broad authorities that we are going to more purposefully activate as we refresh the Gateways network and stand up the new grants offerings for the Chesapeake Gateways and Watertrails network. Next slide. So Chesapeake Gateways, for some that are new on the call, is a network. It's a system of special places that are providing opportunities to enjoy, learn about, and help conserve the Chesapeake Bay and its watershed. Included in the network are diverse natural and cultural, historical and recreational sites, trails, museums, parks, wildlife refuges, and all the associated public programs. And for over 20 years, the NPS Chesapeake Gateways has been supporting successful and innovative projects. And we are here today to recommit and reaffirm the NPS focus on and support for the Chesapeake. NPS Chesapeake Gateways program is focused on advancing dynamic partnerships, inclusive storytelling, equitable access and conservation, and resilient communities for the Chesapeake. We support partners and communities at three scales: at individual Chesapeake Gateway sites, at regional and large landscape scale, and we are working to stand up an additional approach to also bring support at a local community scale. At each of these levels, we work in a way that focuses on places and people, stories, and equity and inclusion. We are striving for NPS Chesapeake Gateways to reflect and benefit our communities and to represent the future of the National Park Service today. So next slide. NPS Chesapeake Gateways Partnership Network and the Community Assistance Program that we run is authorized to receive $3 million in annual federal appropriations. This funding supports the program's technical assistance, cooperative and interagency agreements, as well as this new competitive grants that we will be presenting today. We are here to share a brief overview of the new Chesapeake Gateways Network grants. In the future, we'll hold sessions to share background and opportunities associated with our two other categories of support. To share the highlights on the new grants, I'll pass it now to Eddie Gonzalez, the NPS Chesapeake's Director of Partnership and Grants. So Eddie, take it away and share the big news.
Thank you so much, Wendy. We're very excited. Before I jump in, I do want to thank everyone in the Gateways office who really worked hard over the last 5 months to pull this together, as well as our friends in the regional office that this is a new program for them as well. So a lot of moving pieces, and we're really happy that it's all come together. And thank you all for joining us for this announcement. So really, just to start at the very top, we want to present some highlights, and then we'll go into a little more depth on each of the different parameters here. We do have about $1 million to give away with this first round of grants at 2 grant levels, 25 to 50,000 and 51 to 150,000. And I'll explain more about each of these elements as we go. We're going to be funding 2 grant categories: inclusive interpretive initiatives and resilient communities and landscapes. So a lot of broad appeal in what we're recruiting for this with this solicitation. We're also going to be focused on diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, and community engagement. There's a lot of movement in the watershed towards these efforts, and we want to be able to support what the partners in the watershed are working on. We're also very happy to announce that there is no match requirement in this program, and we hope that this is a way to really broaden the types of organizations that we can support. We do have a broad set of eligible entities through this solicitation, including the private sector, which is a new grantee area for the Park Service. So we're really happy to be able to cultivate those entities within the watershed. We are working with philosophy that all projects must have a public purpose and occur in the Chesapeake watershed in order for them to be eligible. And finally, we planned a pretty extensive application period with a deadline of January 30th. So we can make sure that we're getting the word out to as many organizations that would be eligible to apply. All this work is the result of 25 years of programming within the office. Recently, within the last 3 years, we've been guided by a framework that is helping to define where we can make impact across the Chesapeake Gateways network. And that resulted in a 5-year strategic plan that is not only advising our grant work, but also the other work out of the office. The strategic plan has a duration through 2026, and we're really excited about the impact that we can be making in those next years. That strategic plan does cover 4 strategic themes where we are focusing our effort: rebuild core network capabilities and services, advance a major inclusive interpretive initiative with an equity lens, promote resilient communities and landscapes through tourism, sustainability, conservation, and local economies, and develop gateway communities as strategic focal points. Over the coming years, you're going to see activities out of our office in all 4 of these areas. But today, we're here to talk about the 2 that our grant program will specifically support. Within Advance a Major Inclusive Interpretive Initiative, this is where we're looking to find out what stories are being told, what stories are not being told, who is not telling them, and who is not hearing them. We really want to look at where there's gaps within the watershed on the storytelling piece and help support those organizations and entities that are helping to expand that storytelling, to include new audiences, to include new storytellers. And then promoting resilient communities in the landscape really covers a lot of different types of activities, everything from community engagement to infrastructure planning to convening of different parts of the network. We hope that there's a lot of the programs that you're already working on or have been thinking about, you'll find some reflection in one of these 2 strategic themes going into the application process. For eligible entities, it's pretty much anybody but federal agencies. So state governments, county governments, city governments. This really reflects a lot of our past partners, but it also reflects partners that we really want to engage through this grant making, as well as through some of our other efforts. So the grant program, the Gateway Grants Network network grants is our first opportunity to cast a wide net and really prospect to see what's out there in the network. Going back to some more funding details, again, we are going to be having two grant levels, and this is really to get everybody thinking about how they can make the most impact. $1 million is a pretty substantial level for these network grants, but we know that money will go quick as we start investing in some of these ideas. So in order to broaden the amount that we can give out, we're hoping that folks really look at what their needs are and where we can be innovative and help provide support to get projects and programs to the next level. I mentioned the two grant categories that you'll be able to apply to, and we really expect that a lot of what you're working on will hopefully be reflected in one of those two grant areas. Again, the focus on the diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, and community engagement positions us to help support those organizations that are looking to be innovative. And because there's no match requirement, we're hoping that allows us to engage organizations that might not have been able to be competitive in other grant programs. Culminating in all this is expected impact that we hope will contribute to a public purpose for the Chesapeake Bay and all the partners that are working in it, as well as allowing us to cultivate a large variety of applicants through this program. In a way, we are trying to find out who out there needs support, and whether it comes through this grant program or through technical assistance out of our office, there's going to be multiple strategies at work to help support all the different entities within the watershed. Just to give you a sense of what's next on the grant application side, we are hoping to issue the notice any day now. We're putting the final touches on the grants.gov posting. So everybody that's participating today that's in our contact list will get the notice as soon as it is published. Subsequent to this announcement, we are planning 2 grant overview webinars and 2 grant writing workshops to provide more in-depth training on submitting a successful application. We do have a lengthy application period to help you get organized, to help you rally your potential partners for an application. So the deadline is set for January 30th of next year. After that, we will convene a review panel that'll look at everything from eligibility to relevance to the strategic plan and come up with some recommended selections of awardees. And then those get submitted to our regional office and our headquarters for final approval. Given this timeline, we do hope to have awards made and periods of performance starting in late summer. Now, I mentioned we do have other webinars planned to help you dive more into the application process. You will all get invitations to these webinars. We are going to be tracking registrations to them just so that we can see who's coming to these webinars, who has questions that we should be addressing. And so we can also grow our contact list. We want to make sure that we're reaching everybody that's eligible to submit. So we'll be sending out the full calendar with the registration links. And then these network grants are part of a larger effort to really engage the Gateways communities. We've been hosting a series of chats that some of you may have already participated in, and we have more planned, including the overview and the grant writing workshop that we mentioned earlier. But we're also diving more into our philosophy around gateway communities and all the assets that that communities rally around to really provide these experiences for visitors to the watershed. And then, of course, the deadline coming up at the end of January will then lead us into our review process. I do want to highlight that we are planning a Gateways Network annual conference sometime in 2023 that will capitalize on all the lessons we've learned over the last 25 years, but also start putting new strategic objectives and outcomes out to the network to see where we can aggregate impact and amplify our work. Finally, this is just the starting point of the conversation. If you have any questions, we aren't having an open Q&A since this is just an announcement. But certainly send any questions you may have to Chesapeake_grants@nps.gov. We will be compiling a frequently asked questions document that will be available on our grants landing page. And if you want to already dive into more details about the application process, you can go to go.nps.gov/Chesapeake grants, where you'll see elements of the grant application already mapped out. As soon as the link to grants.gov is live, we will send out an announcement for that and also note it on the grants landing page for you to start your planning. So
And thank you so much. And I have awesome news. The posting is live on grants.gov. We just got pinged by our regional office that has been doing Herculean work to get this up and running. So we will soon have the link to go from our landing page on our website over to it. But I will also post the direct link into the chat. We are ready to go. This is so exciting. I hope, a lot of people share this. We'll push this out, this presentation out. Please go on the website and register for the workshops coming up. We're all just very excited. I want to say thank you to the entire regional team and to the NPS Chesapeake team and to Eddie directly and Bob Campbell, who've all worked so hard to make this day possible. I'm going to put the piece in the chat and the actual link to the live just went live and just was posted so folks can find that. So thank you all. We look forward to seeing incredible ideas, innovative approaches, networked and collaborative presentations and proposals, and we'll see you all at the workshops.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.